Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَإِذَا طَلَّقَ الرَّجُلُ امْرَأَتَهُ طَلَاقًا بَائِنًا. When a man divorces his wife a ba'in talaq, ثُمَّ تَزَوَّجَهَا فِي عِدَّتِهَا, then he marries her in her iddat. Remember, talaq e ba'in breaks off the nikah totally, right? Now, she's still your wife, right? She's now no more your wife, right? But she's in your iddat. So some of the effects of the nikah is still remaining, right? So you are allowed to marry her. And the only way you can get back to her is now with marriage. That's why when the people come and we're trying to get this husband to give the talaq, we get him to give a buying talaq one time. You understand it? Because if he gives a raji talaq, all our effort go to waste, he just makes ruju. You understand it? So we get him to give a buying talaq. Then if they both are happy now to get married again, then they can marry. They don't have to wait for the iddat, like how if a third person wants to marry this woman, then you must wait till the iddat is finished. The husband and wife now don't have to wait for, they can marry now, they can get married during the iddat. And he divorced her before the dukhul with her, right? Now, so what he did now, he married her in the iddat, then he realized I made a mistake now. Why did I marry her again? So he divorced her before the dukhul with her. Then upon him is a new meher, a complete meher, right? A complete meher, and upon her is a new iddat. And this is according to Shaykhain. وقال محمد رحمة الله عليه عليه نصف المهر وعليها إتمام العدة الأولى. Imam Muhammad Rahman says upon him is half the meher and upon her is to complete the first iddat only, right? And what is proof? لأن هذا طلاق قبل المسيح, because this is a talaq before touching her, right? فلا يوجب كمال المهر, so it doesn't necessitate a complete meher again. You understand it? ولا استئناف العدة, and no starting a new iddat. وإكمال العدة الأولى إنما يجب بالطلاق الأول, and the completion of the first iddat, indeed it becomes wajib with the first talaq. So why must she complete now the first iddat? Because they were still, remember, she was still observing that iddat. So that became wajib, still Imam Muhammad saying, because of the first talaq. إلا أنه لم يظهر حالة حالة تزوج الثاني, except that that first talaq did not become apparent, or rather you can say the completion of that first iddat did not become apparent in the situation of the second marriage. In other words, she was observing iddat, but then they got married again. So that period when they were married again, that completion of the first iddat doesn't feature, right? فإذا ارتفع بالطلاق الثاني ذكر ظهر حكمه. So when the second marriage now is removed with the second talaq, now the hukam of the first talaq comes up again, is apparent now, right? And they give the example, Kamala Vishtara Umma Waladin, Summa A'taqaha, like the one who purchased a Umma Walad, then he freed her. What's the situation? That a man now, right, was married to a woman, a slave girl, right? And they got a child. So a man is married to a slave girl. You understand it? A free man, like for example, a free man is married to a slave girl, right? And then he got a child from her. Then what he did, then he bought her. Then he freed her. Then what happens? Then the 3 hajj becomes wajib upon her, right? 2 hajj obviously from the iddat of nikah. She will abstain in there what she abstains from coming out and adorning, and 1 hajj from it. And she don't have to abstain from so many. Right? Why? Because when he purchased her, the nikah broke and iddat became wajib. Right? So when the iddat became, so the nikah broke, iddat became wajib, right? And it says at that time, if he wanted, he could marry her off, right? But it did not become apparent in his right because she's now is in his ownership. So yeah, this is how the masla go, right? So this man was married to the slave girl, right? And they got a child, right? Then he bought her. So when he bought her, you can't own your wife. The nikah breaks, right? The nikah breaks, but so she must go into iddat now because the nikah broke. But the iddat didn't become zahir because she's his slave girl now. He bought her. You understand it? But then after that, he freed her. Now that iddat of nikah comes up again now. You understand it? So that iddat of nikah wasn't showing itself because she was in his milk yamin. She was in his ownership. But once he freed her now, she's out of his ownership. Now that preserved iddat of nikah now comes to the fore. The same thing here now. Imam Muhammad is saying that the same thing is here. That the iddat of the first nikah now comes back up to the fore. Right. ولهما أنها مقبوضة في يده حقيقة في الوطئية الأولى وبقي أثره والعدة. Right. Tarfain says now, Sheikhain says, right, that this woman is now held back, right, in his hand, in reality with the first wati, right? And the effect of the first wati is still remaining, which is the iddat, right? فَإِذَا جَدَّدَ النِّكَاحَ. So when he renewed the nikah, وَهِيَ مَقْبُولَةٌ, and she's still in his possession, because of the effects of the first iddat, نَابَ ذَلِكَ الْقَبْضُ عَنِ الْقَبْضِ الْمُسْتَحَقِّ فِي هَذَا النِّكَاحِ. Then that taking possession will deputize on behalf of the possession which is deserved in this nikah. Right. So what they're saying here now, what Sheikhain is saying here, that see, they are now in the when he divorced her by talaq, right? She's sitting in the iddat. While she's sitting that first iddat there, she's still in his possession. Because of why she's sitting in the iddat? Because he made wati in the nikah. If there was no wati in the nikah, there would have been no iddat. So when she's sitting in the first iddat, she's in his possession because of those watis that he made in this first nikah, right? Now, when he marries her again in the iddat, that first possession will deputize and come and kick in here again. So it's as though that first possession is repeated here. It's as though that first possession. So it's as though he made a wati now again, right? And therefore, since so if he had to make a wati again in reality, then obviously she has to set another full iddat. So likewise now she must set another full iddat. كالغاصب يشتري المغصوب الذي في يده يصير قابضا بمجرد العقد. Right. And they give you example now, like the person who stole something, right? He now purchased the stolen item which is in his hands. He now becomes a person who has taken possession with the mere transaction. What happened now? So you stole something, right? Then you go and pay that man that you stole it from. So now normally when you buy something, you're supposed to make qabza. Take it into possession. But now here you didn't return it, then buy it and took possession. You didn't do that. You merely paid him. So they say that possession that you took initially substitutes on behalf of the possession you need to take now. So likewise, that wati that you made in the first nikah comes up to the fore in the second nikah when you made a new nikah. It says, though you made wati again. You understood that now? Right. فَوَضَى بِهَذَا أَنَّهُ تَلَاقٌ بَعْدَ الدُّخُولِ. So it becomes clear with this explanation now that this is amounting to a talaq after dukhul. وَقَالَ زُفَرْ رَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ لَا عِدَّةَ عَلَيْهَا أَصْلًا. Imam Zuhar Rahman says in this particular case there is no iddat upon her at all now. لأن الأولى قد سقطت بالتزوج فلا تعود. Because the first iddat dropped off when he got married to her the second time, so it won't come back. وَالثَّانِيَةُ لَمْ تَجِبْ. And the second one didn't become wajib because there was no wati. وَجَوَابُهُ مَا قُلْنَا. And the answer to Imam Zufar is what we have said. What we have said You understand? What did we say? That the effect of the first nikah is still there when she's sitting in iddat. So when he made a new nikah now, that effect now just comes and deputizes here. And that qabza that was done in the first nikah is sort of happening again here automatically. You got that now? Okay, leave it till there. Baik. Ya, faida meron din yan. And she must